Hey everyone, and welcome to Do Not Take This Cat Home, a horror game where you meet a cat and now you need to decide what to do with it. You're not having a great day, as usual. Oh great. That's the first time in a while that you felt like going out, but in the middle of your walk, it starts to rain. Typical, but maybe this is just a sign that you should have stayed home today. Yeah, you can always try again tomorrow. Right? You turn to head home when... Huh? What was that? There are only a few people around on the street. Makes sense due to the increase of missing persons around the area recently. Well, that and the weather. But none of them react to the sound at all. Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sounds to the entrance of a dark, dingy alleyway. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward. The ground dampened by the rain makes your steps sound louder and more confident than you actually feel. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the cold, dim light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, is a cat. Huh, guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its dark black fur. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. Shh, so cute. And it definitely knows it. You've never had much of an opinion one way or another about cats before. But if they're all like this one, it's a shock they haven't already found a way to rule the world. You don't think you'd mind us bowing down to a feline overlord. You look around the alley with a small frown. Who leaves cats in cardboard boxes these days anyway? Wouldn't they just jump out and leave the box eventually? The cat doesn't answer you, obviously. It also doesn't do as you suggest and leave the box. It's just looking at you, as if waiting for you to make the next move. With a sigh, you take a decisive step back. As cute as the cat is, you really can't afford to be taking in a pet on a whim. Rent's coming up soon, and your job doesn't exactly leave you rolling in dough. You give the cat a sad nod. Sorry, good luck out there, okay? You turn around and leave the cat in the alley behind. Rain's picking up. Time to head home. Huh, you can't load. Take cat home. You know what? You reach into the box and pick the cat up, holding it out in front of you. Why not? You're all alone and well, I'm kind of in the same boat myself, so you bring the cat close. You didn't realize it was shivering until just now, but it slowly breathes easier as it presses into your chest. Why not stick together, right? At least for a little while. You think a little while will probably be more like a day. You'll be responsible and take it to a shower tomorrow, but for now, let's get you out of the rain, okay? You stop by a small local pet store for some cat food, then head back home. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 you living alone in it. So it feels weird having another living being inside it after so long, even if it is just a cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you watch for a moment as it curiously explores the new environment. Leaving the feline to its own devices, you set about making the both of you some dinner. Take out the can of cat food and open it while the tab on top. Put some cat food on the saucer and click your tongue to call the cat over to you. He perks up at your beckoning and rushes over. He looks at the plate of food and completely ignores it. You're not hungry, I guess. You try not to let it annoy you. The cat doesn't understand the concept of money to appreciate that you spent hard-earned cash on it. It's just a cat after all. I'll just leave it here if you get hungry later, okay? The cat rubs its body against your legs with a purr. You smile. That's enough of a thanks for you. It follows you in the kitchen as you start on your own dinner. You decide that you have enough ingredients for a sandwich. Bread, toasted, mayo and mustard spread, turkey and cheese and lettuce perfectly placed, tomato sliced. Ow! You wince as you cut your finger on the knife while slicing a tomato. Stupid. Feel a little embarrassed for such a blunder and sigh, tossing the knife onto the cutting board. You're about to head to the bathroom for a bandage when the cat hops up onto the counter. It sniffs at the knife and meows almost pointlessly at you. Heh, don't worry, I'm alright. I was just saying. You watch as the cat starts to lick lightly but enthusiastically at the blood on the knife. At your blood. You're so shocked that by the time you come to your senses, the knife has been completely licked clean. The cat sits back, staring at you. You feel a little uneasy. Sure, cats are meat-eating predators, but that was a little weird, right? Sure, you're no cat expert, but that was definitely not something an ordinary cat would do, right? Well, regardless, you're not about to abandon a cat in need while it's still raining outside. Not after all your efforts. You're going to take it to the shelter tomorrow anyway. What's one night of awkwardness? Weird or not? It's just a cat. Is it though? You've been saying that a lot. The rest of the evening, unfortunately, goes downhill from there. Even after covering up your fingers cut with a bandage, the cat keeps licking at the wound. While you're eating your sandwich, while you're cleaning up the kitchen, while you're trying to watch TV, you gently push it away every time while you're starting to get worried at the strange behavior. What if it's got a taste for blood and thinks you're food now? You're not sure what you'll do if it starts to get more aggressive. You keep thinking about the cat food sitting in the corner, untouched. It's loud. Ugh, come on, enough already. You shove it away a little more forcefully this time, out of annoyance. You feel bad immediately, but before you can do anything, the cat meows sharply at you and dashes off around the corner and into the hall. You sigh deeply. At this point, you're just worried that it's going to take a bite out of you in your sleep. Maybe a vet will have an idea how to calm it down? You can only hope. You don't have many other options left other than tossing the cat out in the rain. After finding the number of a local vet, you pick up your landline and the lights just went out. Great, just great. Rain must have knocked out the power. You check your cell phone only to find that it's out of batteries. You must have forgotten to charge it before leaving out earlier. The outing had been so spur of the moment that it had no doubt messed with your usual routine. You grab a flashlight and turn it on. It's quiet. It's too quiet. Did the rain stop? But then, why did the power go out? You look outside. The sky is pitch black. What time is it? You turn to check the clock. The cat sits on top of your digital clock, staring at you. Thinking now, you realize the clock shouldn't be working at all with the power outage. The numbers are lit up and going completely haywire. The cat stares at you, is completely still. You think it was a statue if you didn't know any better. It's not giving off any indication that it's alive. It's not blinking. It's not even breathing. But its eyes. This isn't normal. You're afraid. You want to run, but you're afraid of letting the cat out of your sight. You consider tossing the cat out after all. But as soon as the thought enters your head, you feel a sharp urge to vomit. Its eyes hold you still, even with your flashlight trained on it. Its pupils are large, round, inky pits. The flashlight flickers, and the cat is gone. Fear immediately grips your mind, the silence punctuated with the rapid pumping of blood in your heart, as overridden as your ears slowly start to pick up the sound of static all around you. How is the clock working with no power? You don't know why such a question matters at the moment, but you feel as if having the answer will make sense out of everything that's happening. That order will be restored, but no answer comes to mind. You back away from the clock, feel as if the air itself coils tightly and abruptly in response, like a predator prepared to pounce, but waiting for your next move. But you're afraid to move. You're afraid to even take a breath. But you can't stay still forever, right? Whatever is watching you, you can already feel its impatience. It's too eager. You don't know how you know this, but you can sense it as clearly as if it had whispered, "Let's." There you go. Right into your ears, right into your soul. It won't let you wait it out, not that you could even if it did. You can't stay here. You have to run. With this thought, a sudden primal instinct awakens within you, making you tear yourself into a hasty burst of movement, of action, but you're still weak from the fear's grip on your mind. Your legs tangled together under you and your haste, and you fall to the ground. A sharp pain explodes in the center of your foot. At first, you think you've broken your ankle, but something warm and wet trickles down the length of your foot, pooling underneath it. You hear the sound of metal scraping on tiles after skidding across the floor as if it had been kicked. Winded from your fall, you look up in a daze and see the object glinting in a strange light coming in from outside, the light pouring in from your new open front door. Thoughts of how, when, who, what, in regards to your inexplicable opened door stretch to a halt, as your brain finally identifies the metallic object you've been staring at. It's your kitchen knife, and still tinted red from your earlier blunder, but that's not right. Wasn't it completely licked clean by the... You gulp dryly at the pain in your foot. You barely have time to wonder how the knife ended up on your living room floor to be stepped on, instead of resting on your cutting board in the kitchen where you'd left it, when you spy something in the darkness just beyond the knife. It spies right back at you. A pair of glowing golden eyes comes forward as the cat emerges from the shadows into the light from your doorway. It pads lightly over the knife, as if skipping in delight, and bends down to lap at the blood dripping from the blade. Ah! Your senses slowly begin to overwhelm you. The chill of the air as it starts to suffocate you under its weight. The sound of your shaking breaths, discordant against the static now piercing your skull. The dryness on your tongue spreading to your throat. The incomprehensible sight of the stray you've taken in, licking away at your kitchen knife, once again completely clean. The scent of blood from the flesh wound on your foot. Blood. Golden eyes slide up to you as if in response to your sudden realization. Blood. You're hurt. Your foot is bleeding. You are bleeding. You are bleeding. The cat barely moves, shoulders twitching as if it's just considering the act of pouncing forward. But you're already on your feet and out the door. You run out, or rather limp, down the empty street. The sky is black and bleeding red, but there's a strange light emitted emitting from nowhere that casts everything else in white. The houses, the trees, the road, even you. Everything. Except your blood. You can just barely glimpse the bloody imprints your injured foot leaves in your wake with every impact it makes with the ground. It hurts. It hurts. But you can't stop. You don't stop. Not when the shadows grow around you. Not when you feel the gaze of eyes all over you. Not when the road ahead of you is darkened by a long shadow of something behind you. Even then, you don't stop running, because if that's the cat right there ahead of you, then what in the world is behind you? Huh? Interesting. How very, very interesting. Keep running. Huh? Interesting. How very, very interesting. Wait, what? That's the same. What? Okay, so I started a new game. Well, I hit continue instead of load. And this is what's happening. You're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that you've felt like going out. And you're actually glad that you did. The weather is absolutely perfect today. That's a good sign, right? Maybe your luck is finally starting to turn around. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrance of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down in between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the warm, almost ethereal lights of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, there's a cat. Huh, guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. It puts its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. So, you look so familiar, right? Then again, it is a cat. Not many different ways for a standard black cat to look after. This one sure is a cutie though. Just look. It's not glaring at you or hissing at you or getting this close like other stray cats have in the past. It's just sitting there, patiently, waiting for you to do something. Sadly, as cute as the cat is, you'd never take this thing home with you. You just can't take it home with you. You're a responsible adult. You are with rent and bills to pay for. Not to mention, you need to buy food to survive too. There's no way you could care for a cat long term, right? You can barely afford this little outing on your day out. What to do? You don't think it's a good idea to get the cat's hope up of having someone look after it if you're not willing to commit? What if it gets attached and somehow tracks you down back to your home? What was that? Sorry. See you around, I guess. You stand up, the cat watching your every move. You make it halfway out of the alley when the cat meows almost pitifully at you. Ignore it. No, nope. You need to nip this in the bud and get on with your day. This is what's best for the both of you. You leave the alley and continue on your way. Wait, what was I doing? In all the excitement of dealing with your furry dilemma, you'd forgotten that you still hadn't decided on what you were doing for your day off. I think I'll... go watch a movie. It's been a while since a film came out that looked interesting enough for you to drag yourself to a movie theatre. Well, there's a showing of one such film at the old theatre. The movie was a little too niche to be picked up by the new cinema that opened right across the street. It's okay though, you're not exactly a fan of the crowds, and nothing ruins the experience of watching a new movie for you more than a noisy audience. You eagerly buy your ticket from the kind old man in the booth and head inside. It's barren of any trace of other people, and the decor looks like it hasn't changed since the 80s. Maybe even the 70s? That's what you were counting on. You consider buying some popcorn, but can't help but be concerned that everything at the concession stand might be expired. You move on and walk through the halls, finally locating theatre designated on your ticket stub. As expected, the theatre your movie will be playing in is completely empty. Perfect. You pick a spot right in the middle, even counting the seats and taking into consideration the gap of the staircase. As you settle in, the dim lights fade away, leaving the room pitch black for a few seconds. Before the screen flickers on, new commercials or trailers pop up. The movie just begins. Pleased, you shrug and let yourself get immersed in the opening scene. Just as you're getting into the premise, the doors open behind you, momentarily casting light into the room and ruining the atmosphere. You hold in a frustrated sigh. It's a public establishment after all. The place can't afford exactly to stay open if you're the only customer. You try to refocus on the movie, but you sense the new presence slowly shifting around the theatre before heading in your general direction. What? You gape in utter disbelief as the stranger shuffles down the aisle, only to sit right in front of you. There's no one else here, and plenty of places to sit. The stranger is also unusually tall. Even with the stadium-like arrangements of the seats being on a somewhat steep incline, they're completely blocking your view. You don't want to risk escalating the situation further. This whole thing is already making you uneasy. Why would they choose to sit right in front of you? Surely they knew you wouldn't be able to see past them. Shaking your head with a passive-aggressive scoff in the stranger's direction, you reluctantly pick another, less perfect seat in the theatre. But as you settle down, you see the strange person get up, only to once again sit down in the seat directly in front of you. You look around somewhat helplessly, as if waiting for someone to silently agree with you about how odd all of this is, or at least to inform you that it's all an elaborate prank. But there's no one else here with you. That's how you've always liked it, but you can't help but think maybe it would be nice to have someone else here if it meant not being alone with this weird jerk. You move again. And again, they sit right in front of you. You bristle annoyed and a little humiliated. Are they just getting a kick out of this or something? You wasted enough time with this jerk, you don't even know what's going on in the movie anymore. You hate confrontation. You can already feel your palms starting to sweat at the idea of it. Your throat's closing up and your body's starting to shake. You've always been more of a flighter than a fighter. But you paid for this ticket. You wanted to watch this movie for ages, and now this total stranger has ruined the entire experience for you. You're all alone in this theatre There's no one who'll help you if something goes wrong. But you're angry enough that you ignore the signs of your body, begging you to put as much distance as you can between yourself and the stranger. You stand up, even standing entire up on the incline. The stranger is still at least a head taller than you. The movie continues to play in the background, but you feel as if a hush immediately falls heavily on the theatre at your movement, as if you can sense the stranger anticipating what you plan to do next. You square your shoulders and force a little bass into your voice. Hey. The effort makes your words come out more harshly than you intended, like a sudden and vicious bark. But you figure they deserve it anyway. You're being a real jerk, you know that. Just what are you playing at, huh? Are you trying to piss me off? The silence that follows your words is deafening. So much so that you glance at the screen only to find that the movie has paused. Your attention is ripped back to the stranger in front of you as they shift slightly, like a small animal trying desperately to anticipate the moves of a predator. You don't move an inch. You don't look away. You don't dare to blink. Instead, your eyes widen as the person's head turns, then turns some more, then turns more, beyond what should be possible, neck bones cracking, to face you directly. Ah! You can't move. Wide glowing eyes resting above a wider grinning mouth gaze down at you. The stranger opens the mouth and what comes out is something impossible to comprehend. The voice is endlessly deep and creaks like a weighty door, foreboding and oddly melodic. That's wrong. Alluring, but it also snaps you out of your terrified trance, and before you know it, you're already out the door. You run through the halls of the empty theatre, heading for the exit. You feel something watching you from behind, but you're too afraid to look. The exit now in sight, you sprint forward and burst through the doors. You look around frantically and spot the crowded cinema across the street. People, that's what you need. Safety in numbers and all that. Without thinking, you rush into the street when a sinking sensation crawls down your spine, compelling you to look behind you. Despite your resistance, you feel your head turning to look back of its own accord. While in the middle of the street, you catch a glimpse of a grotesque-looking person standing behind the glass doors of the old theatre, watching you intensely, cradling something in their arms, something familiar. But a glimpse is all you get as the truck speeds forward and crashes into your body. You're killed on impact, your body splattered across the road and crushed further under the heavy tires. Refusing to even risk a peek over your shoulder, you rush across the street to the new cinema theatre. You didn't realize that it felt like you'd been surrounded by some kind of dreadful pressure, until it very suddenly vanishes, leaving you feeling more than a little shaken, but at least breathing comes easier. You think it's within your best interest to repress everything that just happened. Yeah, deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming. You join the long line outside the new cinema. By the time you've reached the ticket booth, you just want to get inside. So you pick a movie at random and take your ticket from the tired-looking teenager manning the booth. The decor is chic and sleek, The inside is bustling with people. It's not what you're usually into, but it's kind of nice to not being alone. Even if you feel a little lonely watching families and groups of friends laughing among themselves. You get some popcorn, but the lines at the concession stands are long and the prices are criminal anyway. True. You go through the halls and follow the signs to the theatre designated on your ticket before heading inside. Time. You stare at the sight of the absolutely crowded theatre. You head towards a seat only to be told by the person next to it it is being saved for someone. This happens a few more times before you finally manage to get yourself settled into a seat unknowingly off center to the screen. The screen is at least visible, if not a little too close, so you grit your teeth and bear it. The lights fade out, but the chatter doesn't. The rest of the audience seems content to talk through the commercials and even through the trailers. You figure the chatter will stop when the movie actually begins, but it doesn't even get slightly quieter as the opening scene starts to play out. You sigh out loud, not thinking anyone would hear you anyway. This is why you avoid movie theaters like the plague. Suddenly, the screen changes, showing the face of a black cat. A familiar black cat. Confused murmurs fill the room, but then, the cat on the screen meows. The sound is strange, and not at all like any cat should sound. Haunting, almost melodic, and laid as if made from multiple voices of different creatures. Creatures that would probably never say. You sit in confusion, wondering why you haven't already gotten up and left to complain to the cinema staff. But then you hear it. It's scattered and dissonant at first, but among the crowd, people start to chant along with the cat on the screen. Soon, the entire room is chanting in perfect unison, everyone staring intently at the cat on the screen. You're feeling strangely drawn to the screen yourself, but the compulsion to stare blankly like the others isn't that strong. For now. Also, you start to notice out of the corner of your eye that some of the people in your immediate vicinity are looking at you. They're outright staring holes into you, even as they continue chanting. They don't miss a beat as they slowly begin to frown at you in blatant disapproval. Their skulls deepen as time goes on, as if they're getting impatient. This is too weird. I need to get out of here. Gathering your courage, or perhaps putting your fear to use, you stand up, fully intending to leave the theatre. When everything comes to an abrupt stop, all of the chanting stops, even the cats chanting on the screen. You tense and risk a glance around the theatre. They're all staring at you. Every single one of them. They're not moving, they're not even blinking. You swallow, throat suddenly dry, even though a nervous sweat completely soaks your clothes. You highly doubt that sitting back down will fix the situation. Your legs are shaking and the audience is unnaturally intense scrutiny, or you force yourself to step forward and forward and forward until you finally reach the end of the aisle. You feel their collective gaze even worse on the staircase. All their heads have turned uncomfortably to the left to look directly at you. The screen illuminates their faces, making clear their blank skulls. They seem even more upset than they had been moments ago, identical frown lines digging between their brows. You keep going, the heavy atmosphere becoming more and more oppressive with every step. You're so tense with anticipation that you fully expect someone to grab you from behind. But no one does. You don't hear any of them even get up. You exit the theater, holding your breath as the door closes behind you. You briskly walk through the halls, putting as much distance as possible between you and a theater full of people. Finally reaching the lobby, you just barely manage to catch yourself from falling to the floor as you gulp in huge gasps of air. You expect to feel relief as your breathing calms, but you feel a lingering sense of dread that only spikes once you finally notice it, as well as its source. You look up, and your stomach sinks. All the people in the lobby area of the movie theater, everyone in line at the concession stand, all of them are staring at you, and they look even angrier than the people in the theater. You don't hesitate this time. You duck your head, avoiding eye contact, and leave the cinema. You ignore the glares of everyone and the ticket booths and the lines leading to them. You make your way home. Whenever you dare to look up at someone on the way, you flinch at the blatant anger, fury, and disgust on their face. You think you start to hear the faint sounds of a cat's meowing behind you, or maybe a kitten's? Doesn't matter, you just want to go home. You reach your front door and fumble with the keys, cowering from the look of pure hatred on your neighbor's face as he stares at you from his door. Finally, you get inside your apartment, lock all the locks on the door, and slide down with your back against it till you're sitting on the floor. Pat, pat, gulp, pat. You allow yourself a moment to breathe. Now home, your heartbeat calms, and your fear slowly bleeds from you, leaving you feeling strangely empty. You pass the kitchen, head to your room, and slip under the covers of your bed, trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's all just a bad dream. As you fall into a fitful sleep, sure to be full of nightmares of glaring eyes, you try to ignore the ever-increasing sounds of cats meowing and yowling at the distance outside your apartment. Try to blend in with the crowd. Thinking fast, you look to the screen, begin to chant in tandem with the crowd. Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya. As working, you feel the harshness of your collective gaze start to ebb away, the air in the theater becoming lighter once more. You release air shakily, just realizing that you've been holding your breath earlier. You feel stuck. Surely you can't just end up and leave now. Not after whatever all that was. The people around you all seem fine now, but there's no telling if they get aggressive at you for even moving too much. Never mind outright getting up and leaving. You decide to let this run its course. Hopefully someone will come along. Right? Or at least turn the film off. You continue to chant along with everyone. Nya, You start to feel lightheaded. You feel as if you could fall asleep, but your eyes don't feel heavy in the slightest. You try to look around, engage the other's emotional state. You seem to look away from the screen. You try again. You're still locked into eye contact with the cat on screen. You attempt to physically force the line of vision away. You steel your nerves, ready to throw yourself to the ground if you need to. But your body only gets as far as tensing up for a moment before completely loosening itself again, making you lay back limply into your seat. You think you should be panicking right about now, but even your brain feels limp. It looks a vaguely muted pastel pink, airy, sickening sweet and loosely spun, like cotton candy. You like cotton candy. You think you shouldn't mind your thoughts and body being like cotton candy either. So, why get up and ruin that? It's nice here. You're more at peace than you've ever felt before in such a crowded room. Still chanting, you've never felt so aligned and in tune with another person, let alone with an entire room full of complete strangers. You're not alone. Out of the corner of your eye, the person next to you starts to sink back even further into the chair. They sink more, then more. Not like they're slouching or reclining, but more like they are deflating. The skin bunches up and wrinkles like fabric as if the muscles, their bones, have started to disintegrate. Their eyes dim before sinking into their sockets. Their mouth, still attempting to chant, falls open over a cut off. Nyah. Gaping as the word ends in an awful hiss, a final, weak release of air. You muse thoughtfully about whether or not you should be distressed at the sight. But even then, the blanket of peace doesn't leave you. Suddenly, when the pile of skin and clothes next to you, you see a lump moving around. You watch in dazed fascination as the lump makes its way to the part of skin where the head used to be, and out from the mouth crawls a tiny black kitten. You can hear the familiar hissing sound all around you now as the ununified chants start to fade, only to be replaced with the faint meowing of kittens. Finally, your voice is the only one chanting, still human, and alone, again. You don't want that. You can't go back to that. Not again. Not again. Please. Just then, you go completely limp. Your body feels light, but it might as well weigh several tons, because you realize, quite suddenly, that you can't move. Not an inch. You can't shift your eyes to look around. You can't even breathe. But somehow, the chant continues to creak weakly from your mouth. Meow. 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 Few kittens come forward and perch themselves on the chairs around you, watching your seeking body, mewling as they wait for the youngest sibling to emerge. From you, dozens of glowing eyes peer down at you, and as your eyes start to cave into the sockets of your softening skull, you manage to make out the silhouette of a familiar cat perching on the seat right in front of you. Your vision finally fades, and at the same hiss of air expels itself from your mouth, the last thing you'll sense is something small and alive shifting eagerly under your skin. Happy birthday. Let's go to the carnival. You spend the day at the carnival. Ferris wheel, roller coaster, ferry boat, rides you've been on before, hoops, coin toss, balloon darts, games you've played before, Funnel cake, popcorn, cotton candy, food you've eaten before, all things you've enjoyed before. You're surrounded by groups of people, all having fun together, laughing, playing, eating, taking pictures, making memories. And then there's you. The sun hasn't started to set yet, still high in the sky, but it will soon. You start to wonder if maybe you should just go home for the day. When you stop in your tracks, you see something new, an attraction you've never seen before, a maze of funhouse mirrors. It sounds kind of lame, honestly. There isn't even a line to get in. But then, what else is there too? You entered the maze. A few rooms in, and you notice that the mirrors aren't all weird. Some just show you looking back at yourself. A little bored, a lot tired. So very, very... Maybe this was a mistake. Why did you think going into a maze of mirrors was a good idea? Even if it was something new to experience. I can't do this today. You turn around to head back the way you came. Only to bump into a mirror. Ow. What the? Where's the exit? You try again, only to find another mirror blocking your way. By the time you've all turned around, you've realized that the way you came in is completely gone. Okay, don't panic. I just have to keep moving forward, right? You step through the only opening you can find and nearly trip over something on the ground. You bend down and pick it up. What's this doing here? In your hand rests a worn-looking flashlight. Curious, you flick it on. Huh? The light doesn't look very... Crap! The lights! Did the power go out, or did the attraction operator forget you were in here? How long have you been here, actually? You pull out your phone to check the time, or maybe call the police. Your phone is dead. You grab the flashlight in your hand. The light it emitted earlier was dim enough for you to know there's probably not much juice left. Best to reserve it for worst case scenario and feel your way out. Yeah, you can do this. You take a calming breath. Well, forward we go. Hello, darling adventurer. Who said that? Welcome to the Mirror Maze. Would you like to know how to navigate the maze? Once again, welcome to the Mirror Maze. You're in a bit of a jam, but don't worry. You're in good hands. Or rather, good paws. See these little cuties here? They'll be doing the best to guide you through the maze. Aren't they generous? When you enter a room, the emergency light will flash, letting you see the paths before you for a second, and also what lies beyond them. Whenever you see these kind of kitties, just go where they are and you'll reach the next room. Unfortunately, they're not the only things in here. It is highly suggested that you refrain from calling any of our other guests. They can be sneaky or distracting, but they're always hostile. So please take caution when advancing to the next room. Of course, this wouldn't be much of a mirror maze without mirrors. Can they hurt you? No, they're just mirrors, silly. They didn't do anything at all, and you can't do anything to them either. They're just an obstacle you can't pass through. Go left, go center, or go right. The choice is yours. Though, if you find a room with no help with kitties in sight, and all the paths lead to a mirror or something else, it's recommended that you stay put, and just maybe it'll work itself out. Now, for navigation tools. That flashlight you found doesn't have much juice left. It'll only let you get a quick extra peek at your surroundings about 5 times. So try not to use it all up at once. You can keep track of your progress. The room's up to the left, and your lives up to the right. You've got 3 lives, so be careful to avoid the less friendly guests lurking around. Or only 3 lives, you ask. Because you're soft and squishy. It wouldn't take much to damage you beyond repair. And besides, you're human. And humans usually only have one life, yes? And yet here you get 3. Don't you think you ought to show a little more gratitude? And that's the end of your tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful. Are you ready to play? What would you like to know? Can you let me go? Your request to forfeit is denied. Let me out of here. Screaming is not allowed in the maze. Can you turn off the flash, please? Of course. Flash off. This game is too hard. Alright. The flashlight will give you 7 second chances now. And the flash will last longer. Is that better? I'm ready to play. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Go! Center. Ow, not that way. Right. Okay, next room. Right. Okay, next room. Left. Okay, next room. Stay. This room feels off. Just wait. I think something just changed. I wanna go right. Ow, not that way. Let's see what happens. Ow, not that way. Suddenly, the lights turn on. Your eyes burn from the sudden brightness. As your vision adjusts, you see that you're completely surrounded by mirrors. The reflections, all grotesque in unique ways, look nothing like you. But they do look hungry. You back up. You don't know where to go. Was there even a way out to begin with? You bump back into a mirror and feel a hand firmly grip your shoulder. Ah! There's a sharp pain in your other shoulder. You rip away, looking back to see some thing leaning out of the mirror. Its face has no features, save for a large gaping mouth, stained in your blood. Looking around in a panic, you think that the mirrors feel closer than before. The path you've come in from is long gone. You're surrounded, and every time you blink, you could swear the mirrors were getting closer, and closer, and closer. Your horrifying reflections looking hungrier, and hungrier, and flashlight? Left. Okay, next room. Left. Center. You see it, the exit. You run forward, but as you do, the scenery shifts just slightly at first. But you're running too fast to stop yourself from colliding into the glass. Except, you don't quite go into the glass. You don't exactly collide with it either. You simply pass through it. And on the other side, you see an endless white void and... What? People? Yourself? Dozens of you. Hundreds of you wandering around. Aimless. Faceless. And empty. Just like me. So empty and listless. They don't even acknowledge your presence. You try to turn back. The glass doesn't give. Past the glass. A familiar black cat walks up and looks at you. You think it meows at you. You can't make out the sound. We're trapped in the mirror world. It tilts its head. Then it walks away. The glass goes dark. Then you watch helplessly as it disappears completely. You're trapped, with only yourself as company. You beat the maze. I did. And now I'm trapped. No, I don't even know you. Okay. No need to get snippy. Let's begin then. 3, 2, 1. Go! Okay, that's the same. No, but I have some questions. What would you like to know? That's the same. Confront the stranger. You hate confrontation. Okay, it's the same. I think I'll go to the dog park. You decide to take a stroll in a park or something. The only one within walking distance is a nearby dog park. You think it'll make you feel better. First, you get to see a cute cat today. Now you'll get to see a cute dog. Several of them, in fact. The park is bustling with owners and the canine companions. Playing frisbee, pitch, running, jumping, even napping. Such cuties. Whatever. Like you want anything to do with these mangy mutts. What's wrong? You didn't think of that? You decide to move on? The dogs are also adorable. You want to pet every single one you come across. But you know not all owners are cool with strangers just walking up and manhandling their pets. That's true, guys. Don't touch pets without their permission. Not all dogs appreciate it either. So stroll around the path, trying to exude a welcoming aura that would beckon one of these cute doggies to you. You don't even have to wait very long. You stop at the smallest, cutest puppy you've ever seen scampers up to you, blocking your path. Kill the puppy? What? Eat the puppy? Huh? Okay, let's see. You pick up the puppy and... Hold on. You just barely managed to rein in the reflex to throw the puppy as far away from you as possible. With shaking hands, you quickly place the puppy on the grass and take several jerky steps back. The owner seems confused by your reaction to the puppy, but you just wave at him in a daze before hastily stumbling away. You're not feeling so great about being at the park at the moment. Maybe you should leave? Stay. You stay at the park. You try to calm down by watching other dogs from afar as you walk along the path, but every so often, one will run up to you. And when they do, they look wrong. The owners don't seem to notice. You find a bench and sit down for a quick break, closing your eyes. Maybe this wasn't the best idea after all. Maybe you should have stayed home with me instead. Is the cat jealous? Is it torturing me because it's jealous? You're broken out of your thoughts when something lands gently on your lap. You look down and see a frisbee on your thighs. Hey, sorry about that. Can you throw that back? You look up to see an owner waving at you in the distance, but more importantly, a series of excited barks jerks your gaze forward, and you see a large dog sprinting towards you. Yes, that is how dogs act. A series of excited barks jerks your gaze forward, and you see a large dog sprinting towards you. Hey, hurry up and throw it back. Oh, leave, throw. You throw the frisbee, and the dog runs in the opposite direction, jumping and catching it right out of the air. Impressive. The dog and the owner walk up to you. Thanks for that. You can pet him if you want. The dog looks up at you, eager for its reward of pets and pats for catching the frisbee. Should I pet dog? Really? Are you sure? I'm warning you. Do not touch that mutt, or you will regret it. Pet the dog. I'm gonna do it. You reach out your hand and you pet the dog. Good ending. The dog seems pleased. You don't feel well. Suddenly, the sky begins to darken rapidly. You look up along with all the other pet owners to see that the sun has been eclipsed by the moon in the blink of an eye. You vaguely remember that you should never look directly at an eclipse, but for some reason, you don't look away. A loud piercing yell fills the air, shaking the ground beneath you. You instinctively move to lift your hands in order to shield your ears, but the hand that had been cautiously pressed upon the dog's head comes away with some resistance, like sticky slime, almost cementing your hand to the dog's head. The slime stretches your movement. Gross. The dog's head stretches with it too, as the canine begins to just melt. It melts. It melts. Until it becomes a pile of goo at your feet. You dazedly look around for the dog's owner, only to find an empty pile of familiar clothes where they once stood. You see similar piles of clothes next to piles of goo scattered all across the park's open field. All the dogs, all the owners. The melted goo of the dog in front of you then starts to move with a shudder. The cat's eye. It slithers across the grass towards the field in the center of the park, all the other piles of goo following after it. They mix and meld together into a single entity that shifts and undulates and bulges and grows. You watch in a dazed horror as it then fills out and shapes itself. Into a behemoth of a dog, snarling and frothing at the mouth, red eyes frantic and searching, before the glowing orbs land directly on you. The rumbling growl emits so low and deep you can feel the sound of it crash into you. Can I stay? Leave the park? No. You had your chance. Better start running. You try to run, but you're not fast enough. The behemoth barely takes a few leaps before it's already towering over you. It tears you apart until there's nothing left. Dog person. Eat the puppy. That's disgusting, and I think I'm going to be sick. There's no way I'd ever do that. Kick the puppy? What? It's just a puppy. There's no way I would ever do that. No, that's horrible. There's no way I would ever do that. Leave the park. Terrified, you drop the puppy to the ground, practically throwing it from you. You immediately feel horrible, voicing your guilt at the tiny yelp it releases upon hitting the ground. The owner shoves you aside with a cutting glare and storms away with their puppy. "I'm sorry," you call out, but they don't turn back or respond. Not that you expected them to. You deserved it. You're not feeling so great about being at the park. Maybe you should leave. Stay? You stay at the park. Try to calm down. Every so often, when you run up to it. And when they do, they look, "Well, there it is. Yes. Leave. Good. And don't come back. Okay. Throw. You throw the frisbee and the dog runs in the opposite direction, jumping and catching it. Yes, impressive. Walk up to you, thanks for that. You get to put him in. Should I leave? A wise decision. Think I'll... Good. Do something else. There's gotta be a better way to spend your day off than wandering around staring at weird mirrors. True. Now what? You don't know why, but you don't really feel great about the idea of being alone right now. Deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DV or something. You joined... This is too weird. Feeling uncomfortable, you decide to leave the theater. There's still enough time left in the day to do something else. Feed cat. The cat must be hungry, right? You can't imagine that it has had much to eat, if it's so attached to the box it's in, though it doesn't exactly seem malnourished either. Julia must have left the box to search for food then. For some reason, something in the back of your mind tells you that's not the case. Not to think on it any further? Well, either way, you can't exactly enjoy your day out knowing you left behind a hungry cat. Especially when you could have done something to help. So, what do you do about the hungry kitty? Check pockets. You dig into your pockets. You find a small piece of string in your left pocket. Not very helpful. The string is far too short. An eager and excited cat leaping for it could easily lead to you getting bitten and scratched. In your right pocket is a bar of chocolate. You find a chocolate bar? Is it? Nope, it's not even expired. Quite the finds indeed. You're about to offer it to the cat, when suddenly you're hit with guilt as you remember something gut-curdling. Chocolate is toxic to cats. Oh my gosh, you resist the urge to vomit at your near mistake. Worship the cat. You feel so guilty. You throw the chocolate bar away into a nearby trash bin. An almost cat color doesn't deserve chocolate. You go back to the cat, barely able to stand its innocently oblivious expression. It doesn't even know that you almost... I'm so sorry. I didn't even know what to say. You're a horrible person. You know what? Stay there. I'll be right back. You leave the alley. I return with a whole fish you brought at a nearby grocery shop. It was a bit pricey, but it was the least you could do. The cat eagerly accepts your offering, munching happily at the fish after you place it in the box. You want to smile at the sight. You just feel so awful. Sorry again. The cat seemingly pays you no mind as you slip back out of the alley. Not feeling like you deserve a peaceful day out, you decide to just head back home. What was that? On the way home, you notice more cats than usual, watching you from their hiding spots, but you try not to think about it. You can't help but wonder if they know what you nearly done, but it's not like you meant to hurt anyone. Right? You finally reach your apartment building. You're about to unlock the door when you're becoming Catwoman. You look behind you, only to see dozens of cats standing there, looking at you. Did they see you feeding the cat in the alley and thought that you had more food for all of them? I'm sorry, I don't have any more food for you. None of them move an inch. You're starting to feel a little unnerved when finally a single cat pushes its way to the front and... Oh, it's you. Oh, it's held carefully between its teeth as the chocolate bar you'd thrown away earlier. It places the chocolate bar down in front of you before looking back up at you. All the cats look up at you. You can feel their judgment. You feel your sins weighing down heavily on your back, but without the money to buy enough food for all of them, you don't know what to do. You collapse at your knees and bow down low as you start to earnestly beg for their forgiveness. I'm so sorry. I swear. I'd do anything to make it up to all of you, but you're out of options. Suddenly, you feel something stir in your stomach as it swims its way up to your throat, closing off your airway as it tries to force its way out of your esophagus. It finally succeeds with aid from your helpless gagging. Blech. Huh? What the? Lying on the ground in front of you is a flopping fish. You just threw up a living fish. What the hell? The cats come rushing forward, all tearing hungrily at the fish. You're happy to finally be of help, truly. But how? Blah. You throw up another fish. Oh no. We're becoming a cat food dispenser. And another. And another. And your stomach hurts. You're getting dizzy. You fall to your knees. Tears and snot are streaming down your face by the time you cough up a final, tiny, bloody fish and collapse forward. Your throat and stomach both hurt in a way that feels dangerous. You start to fade out. Despite the pain, you strangely feel a more overwhelming sense of hopeful pride that you've made up for your disgusting actions, that you've been forgiven. The sounds of happy cats munching away at the fish fills your ears. Then you feel something behind being nudged into your hand. It feels like it's the bar of chocolate you found in your pocket. You're being forgiven? You smile weakly. You successfully atoned. You don't really have the strength to eat your reward. Sadly, the last taste in your mouth as you leave this mortal coil doesn't get to be that of chocolate, but raw fish. You go inside. You decide to cut your losses and head inside. Your sins weigh down on you, but you're only human. What more can you do? Jeez. Try to ignore the yowling of the neighborhood cats as you go about your chores. You consider preparing dinner, but how could you enjoy it knowing how hungry these poor cats outside are? The ones you've wronged. You decide to take a bath and go straight to bed without dinner. A fitting punishment for someone like you. You forgo the fancy bath bubbles because you don't deserve them and sink into the water with a sigh. Your mind races, but you can't really think of any immediate solution that doesn't require more money. You wish there was something, anything, you could do to make things right. Suddenly, your legs start to feel really itchy. You try to lift one to see what's going on. What rises out of the water isn't a pair of legs. Oh no, they're gonna eat us. It's a fish tail. You feel dizzy at the sight. Maybe you're hallucinating from the stress. You try to climb out of the tub to cool your head, but instead of your hand rising up to brace itself, a wet fin stretches out to plop on the rim. It's too weak to hold your weight, and you're so startled by the sight. You slip and smack your head on the side of the bathtub, passing out almost immediately. You're awake, you think, anyway. You open your eyes and you're underwater. You must have slid beneath the surface of the bathwater. You gasp instinctively, except not really. A bubble simply floats out of your mouth, up, up, up to the surface. You're broke as heck, so you know your bathtub isn't that big. Did you shrink? But how? Even if there were a reasonable answer, it wouldn't explain how you haven't drowned yet. You swim to the edge of the tub and see the truth in your shadow silhouette. You've been turned into a fish? This isn't possible. You don't get any time to ponder over this, unfortunately, because just then, a shadow looms over you from above. You look up and see the cat. It peers down at you from beyond the water's surface. And then you realize, this is the answer. This is how you're meant to atone. With a heavy heart, you swim up to the surface. Feast upon my flesh and grow. The cats scoop you up, tossing you out of the tub and onto the bathroom tiles. As you flop around gasping for air, or water, you realize the cat wasn't alone. Dozens of hungry eyes peer down at you. You can hear the yowling of what sounds like hundreds of cats outside your bathroom window. You send one last look to the cat before closing your eyes and accepting your fate. As the cat descends upon you, tearing at your flesh, you find yourself mourning the fact that you're not even big enough to feed all of them. Even in the end, you couldn't properly atone. Your efforts, your life, all of it, amounted to nothing. Seafood sacrifice. Play with cat. Oh, you just want a little attention, don't you? The poor thing must have been bored sitting in the box all day. You're not sure you're much of an interesting companion, but you're willing to do your best. There's got to be something you can entertain the little critter with. But what? Check pockets. You dig into your pockets. You find a small piece of string in your left pocket. Not very helpful. The string is far too short. An eager and excited cat leaping for it could easily lead to you getting bitten and scratched. In your right pocket is a bar of chocolate. I'm sorry. Not too helpful either right now. The only other thing you've got on you is your phone. It's not much of anything that cat can play with, but there is something you can do. Photo montage. Well, that was fun, right? No. Well, you enjoyed yourself. With nothing else to do and no intention of taking the cat home, you decide it's probably best to just leave. You don't want the cat to get attached after all. At least you'll have some memories to take with you. Okay, see you around, I guess? Good luck? Okay. You turn around. What? Your phone just got a message. You open it up and... Is it the cat? What? Aren't I cute? It's a picture of a familiar looking cat. Huh? The cat does look cute and happy in the picture. But it's not a picture you recognize. What the heck did I... You didn't take this picture. You peek over your shoulder at the cat. The cat is simply looking at you. It meows sadly, as if pleading you to come back. Hang out and do something else? Well, I guess I could stay a little longer. But now what to do? You're not ready. Play with the cat. Look around the area. You search around, but there's really nothing in the alley that looks interesting enough for the cat to play with. So maybe... How about a game? You decide on a game you've known since childhood. Red light, green light. A classic. Teaching cat how to play might be a bit of a challenge, but you get the feeling the feline's natural hunting instincts will help it along. You walk to the entrance of the alley, the cat meowing at you. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Oh. Exaggerate your movements, covering your eyes with your hands and turn around. 1, 2, 3. Red light. You spin around. The cat hasn't left the box, tilting its head at you in curious confusion. Keep playing. You try again. This time you go a bit slower. 1, 2, 3. Red light. When you turn around this time, the cat is out of the box. The cat freezes under your stare, as if it thinks you can't see it if it doesn't move. So cute. Satisfied that the cat is getting the hang of the game, you turn again, speeding back up. 1, 2, 3, red light. You turn around. The cat is a few steps away from the box now, peeking out from behind the dumpster. Its eyes trained rather intensely on you. Well, at least it's having fun. You turn again and feel a sudden chill down your spine. You feel silly, but you can't help counting just a little faster this time. 1, 2, 3, red light. Rolling around after saying red light, you look at the cat. It's halfway down the alley, closer to you now, but it's as if the perspective of what you're seeing is off somehow. Doesn't the cat look a little bigger? Its pupils are thin slits now. Something's not right. The cat meows at you again, but it sounds much deeper than earlier. It's crouched down, as if poised to lunge forward. Your breath shudders a little as your heart starts to race. Your foot instinctively shifts back. You freeze immediately. The cat looks impatient. It wants to keep playing, but you gulp and turn around, swiftly counting and turning again as you gasp out. 123 red light. The ground shakes as you whirl back around. You find yourself staring at a long surface of black fur. You slowly look up and up and up. You see a giant, shadowy figure leering down from its position, hunched over you. Fangs dripping with saliva, claws crushing into the concrete walls of the alley. Its glowing eyes are blinking as it looks back at you. The cat, waiting for your next turn, but it's so close. If you turn around now, you don't want to play anymore. Keeping your eyes trained on the giant looming over you, you take a step back. No, that's cheating. Run restore backup.exe. Begin restoration. B. R. No. A. C. K. U. E. What are you doing? Stop. You'll break every... Back up. The cat stares at you as you keep eye contact and back up. You step back and back. And as you take one more step back out of the alley, it's just a dream. Go home. Error. 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 The world outside the alley seems to be broken. What exactly did you do? Error found. Let's see what happens. Okay, so there's no punishment. You don't even finish turning around before claws grip your torso, digging in and piercing the soft flesh of your stomach with ease, as you're lifted onto the drooling, gaping jaws above you. You can't help but think that there must have been another way out of this, but pointless regrets are pretty typical for you, aren't they? Ending 32. Fear Quitter. Hang out and do something else? Feed cat. Look around the area. You glance around the dark, dingy alley and only see garbage bags, trash bins, empty cardboard boxes, and scattered litter here and there. If there is something for the cat to eat, surely I would have found it by now, right? But you don't want to just give up so easily. You keep looking. You look and only see garbage. You sniff and only smell garbage. You listen. You just barely make out the sound of faint scurrying by a trash bin a few feet away. Quietly, oh so quietly, you creep over to the bin and you lunge. You weren't very graceful in your attempt. You stumbled and knocked over a stack of nearby boxes full of more trash, but as you stand up, grasp in your hand, is a small mouse. The mouse squeaks and shrieks in distress, wriggling and struggling desperately in your grip. You're holding it too tightly and carefully for it to be able to bite or scratch you though. It wears itself out eventually and looks up at you with black eyes. It's completely at your mercy. Feed the mouse to cat. The mouse looks scared, as if it can sense your intentions. It weakly starts to struggle again. The mouse is reluctant. Feed mouse to cat. You feed the mouse to the cat. The cat tears it apart instantly. The mouse's pain squeaks and squeals pierce through you until they're abruptly cut off. Satisfied, the cat meows happily at you, red tinting its fangs. Offer more to the cat. The cat curls up in its now blood-stained box and goes to sleep. Offering for the cat. You take the chance to leave. A well-fed cat will likely follow you home after all. And cute as the cat is, you really can't afford a pet right now. Still, feeling a little guilty about the mouse, you decide to just go home. There's a giant rat gun up here. After a long walk home, you finally enter your apartment. You head straight for your room and collapse on your bed, falling into a fitful sleep. Later, you wake up to squeaking and scurrying noises all around you, so loud and constant they sound like screams in the darkness of your room. You see the shifting shadows of hundreds of mice surrounding your bed. You try to run. You cry out as the twin lances of pain race up your legs. You fall off the bed in your attempt to escape, the hordes of mice dodging you as you crash to the ground. You can't stand up. Looking back and squinting in the dark, you just about make out the sources of your pain. The flesh and tendons of your heels and ankles are mangled, bitten through your socks. No, leave me alone. Desperate, you crawl with only your arms towards the door. The mice descend upon you, biting into your skin, and gnawing away pieces of you. You start fading out of consciousness, but you still reach up for the doorknob. Your arm heavy, weighed down by the mice clinging to it with little claws and tiny teeth. Spaghetti. You manage to jostle the knob enough for the door to slowly swing open. Plop. But your outstretched arm suddenly falls to the ground, lifeless. The mice manage to chew through the flesh and bone of your now dismembered limb. As a few mice creep forward to curiously inspect your arm, you see you blinking at it for a moment before sliding your gaze off. And the newly opened doorway sits a familiar-looking mouse. It stares at you, the darkness in its beady black eyes. You can't begin to measure the depths, nor the hatred pouring out from within them. All of it aimed at you. You collapse, head hitting the floor as your other arm is eaten away as well. You're not sure how you're still conscious. The pain should be indescribable, and yet you just feel a cold sense of loss. The mice have clustered along your back now, gnawing and ripping their way between your shoulder blades, into your back, into your chest. Cough. You weakly cough up blood. They must have damaged something important. You feel something being pulled out of you, and in between the moments that blankets of darkness fade out your vision, you hear something wet plop to the ground in front of you. You pry your eyes open and see it in front of the mouse. Weirdly shaped, red with your blood, and pulsing, and oh, that's your heart, isn't it? The other mice all descend upon it, abandoning your half-eaten body. You're losing a lot of blood. You feel sleepy, but you also feel anger? Yes. So much anger. How dare they? How dare they? The last thing you see before your vision fails you is a pair of glowing eyes leering in from the darkness beyond the doorway. You can hear squeaks and shrieks of terror all around you. Low yowls, deep snarls, gnashing teeth, tearing flesh. As your remaining senses leave you, you smile weakly with the last of your strength, when something with soft, slightly damp and sticky fur nuzzles your cheek. Good kitty. Good ending. This is different. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was just so tired of everything. Not you, never you. But I couldn't be the person you deserve, couldn't ever hope to be. You were so amazing, smart and talented, and independent. You shined. But in comparison, damn it. So stupid. So worthless. But when it approached me, it didn't tell me that it wanted me. It needed me. Maybe that's what I wanted all along. Wanting could be so fleeting, but to be needed? There was nothing I wouldn't give to have someone tell me that I mattered to them. That they needed me. You're walking. Right, of course. It's the first time in a while that you felt like going out. And you're actually glad that you did. The weather is absolutely perfect today. That's a good sign, right? Maybe your luck is starting to turn around. You tentatively allow yourself to feel excited for the possibilities of where you could go or what you could do. Maybe even who you could meet. You're so deep in thought that you almost miss it. Huh? What was that? Curiosity guiding your steps, you follow the sound to the entrances of a lonely alleyway. The sunlight only just manages to reach down and between the tall buildings on either side. You timidly enter the alley and walk forward, the loose gravel and scattered debris on the ground softening your steps. Finally, the sound source comes into view in the warm, almost ethereal light of the alley. At the end of the alley, in a big cardboard box, there's a cat. Huh? Guess that should have been obvious. It's an interesting looking cat. Its pretty yellow eyes shine like gold among the dark sea of its black fur. It put its front paws up on the edge of the box and looks up at you. So, you look so familiar, right? Then again, it is a cat. How many different ways for a standard black cat to look after all? This one sure is a cutie though. Just look. It's not glaring at you or hissing at you for getting this close like other stray cats have in the past. It's just sitting there, patiently, waiting for you to do something. Well, why not? Right? You barely reach out your arms before the cat eagerly leaps into them and climbs up onto your shoulders. It butts its head into your temple, nuzzling against it. You can't help but smile at the cat's enthusiasm. Let's get you out of here, yeah? On the way home, you briefly consider getting cat food. That would be a waste of time. You shrug at that odd feeling and move on. You live in a modest apartment. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, you living alone in it. So it feels weird having another living being inside it after so long, even if it is just the cat. After locking the front door and placing the cat on the floor, you wait for it to walk away and explore the new environment. But it simply sits and looks up at you expectantly. Like what? The cat looks hungry, so you decide to feed it. You're not regretting not swapping food earlier, as you don't have much left. Grocery shopping day is tomorrow after all. You head to the kitchen, click your tongue, ensuring the cat follows after you. It leaps nimbly onto the kitchen counter and watches as you search for meal options. Let's see. You find some things you expect. Can of tuna in the pantry. Some leftover meat left in the fridge. And... Huh? What's that? Is it my blood? You realize there's a tightly sealed Tupperware on the bottom shelf of the fridge. You don't recognize it. A foul odor is leaking from the container. Whatever's inside can't be safe for human consumption. But the cat seems excited about it. Practically salivating over it, actually. Still, you're the caretaker here. You're the one who needs to decide what's best to feed a hungry cat. So you'll feed it? Is this really a good idea? Fine. I guess if this is what you want. You open the container and... you just barely manage to keep from throwing up. But just barely. The stench is overwhelming. Yeah. Give me a minute. You hazard a look at the contents of the container, but you honestly can't understand what you're supposed to be looking at. Everything is just mashed together. What exactly everything consists of is a mystery. You're more than happy to keep it unsolved. Different shapes, different sizes, different textures. Not the color though. All of it is the same color. The most unfortunate looking shade of grey you've ever seen. Tinted with a nauseatingly wet green film over the top. Am I supposed to warm it up, or you don't really know how to serve it? Any utensil or plate that touches it is getting thrown out immediately. No exceptions. Your hands are going out to be scrubbed with soap and hot water to within an inch of their lives after this. You decide against putting this crap in your microwave. You doubt it would taste or smell any better warm. Not wanting to hold it anymore, you shake your head and practically toss the container next to the cat on the counter. The cat enthusiastically dives for the toxic-looking sludge, sniffing it as if savouring the scent. You turn to the fridge and close it. You've lost your appetite. You're about to head to the bathroom to wash your hands for the next hour or so when... Ow! A sharp pain on your foot causes you to stumble. You catch yourself on the kitchen sink and look down to see the tip of your sock is... red. And the red is still slowly spreading to the rest of your sock. Are you bleeding? You quickly reach down and pull off your sock to see the damage. Middle toe is gone. It's just gone. Just a stump is left in its place, steadily leaking blood onto the floor. You clumsily step back as if it would help you get away from what you were seeing. The blood trail simply follows your movements. 911. You have to call 911. Bird, where's the... What? Your tongue is... What's happening to me? You slowly look over to find the cat still eating, completely unbothered by his suffering. Not bothering to try and stop blood from dribbling out of your mouth. You keep watching in a daze as the cat happily chews at a gross piece of... Wait. That's... You look more closely at the mysterious food in the cat's jaws. It looks vaguely familiar. It looks like a tongue? Before you even think to do anything to stop it, the cat dives into the container again and bites into a piece that looks kind of like a... You can lapse to the floor, clutching your torso. You writhe around on the blood-streaked tiles, crying. Something inside you just... Blood pours out from deep within you, whatever that was. Felt important. And now it's probably gone too. It hurts. It hurts so much. Stop, please. You weakly try to reach up to the cat on the counter above you. Your vision blurs from the effort, from the pain, from the tears, from... Your eyes. You fall limply back to the floor. You're leaking blood all over. From all over. Your foot, your mouth, your insides, your eye sockets. You can feel your life fading away too. That's fine. If it means not feeling the pain of losing another part of you, then... Hopefully the cat will take its time eating your eyeballs, and give you time to just... You're what you eat. Do something alone. Do something with cat. Cats like fish, right? Shrugging, you take out the tuna for the cat and meatloaf for yourself. You put the frankly ominous container back in the fridge. The cat looks a little disappointed. Tough. You'll need to dispose of that weird, whatever it is, later. You open the tuna and spoon it into a small saucer. You put the saucer on the kitchen counter next to the cat. You don't think you should be encouraging it to eat up here, but you figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the tuna acceptable. He'll take it. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into your meal, you go about heating up the meatloaf in the microwave. While setting the timer, you hear... You turn and see the plate is completely empty. Wow, that's quick. You need to pace yourself. What the? You watch, baffled, as the cat continues to hiccup, causing little bubbles to float out of its mouth. Okay, that's okay. You can process this. It's not completely out of the realm of what's possible, right? Right? Just not to think too hard about it. Soon enough, the room is full of floating bubbles. The cat releases a final tiny bubble before yawning and laying down right there on the counter. Well, glad you enjoyed it. The bubbles haven't left the room or popped. They seem to be pretty resilient. Wait, what? What's that? As one of the bubbles floats closer to you, you see that there's actually something inside it. A tiny, furry fish. This is just getting weirder and weirder. Still, you can't help but marvel at the impossible wonder in front of you. You lift a hand. You extend a finger towards a bubble. Carefully press it against the surface. The little fish inside lashes out, viciously sinking tiny fangs into your finger. It doesn't really hurt that much at first, but then... Ow, what? Pain starts to climb the finger to the rest of your hand. Past your worst. Could it be some kind of venom? You fling your arm around in an attempt to dislodge the fish, but... You accidentally knock your arm into several of the bubbles floating around. More tiny, ravenous fish latch onto your flesh. You stumble back out of pain and a sudden bout of dizziness and need to bump into more bubbles. More fish digging their teeth into your back. It hurts. You're getting dizzy. You've got to get out. You deliriously try to stumble out of the kitchen. But the entire room is filled with the daily bubbles. By the time you collapse to the ground, you're absolutely covered in tiny, angry, hiding fish. Your legs, your torso, your arms, your face. The pain is unbearable. You can feel it in your skin, in your teeth, in your eyes, in your hair, and it is so consuming. You can't even feel yourself convulsing or crying. You don't black out. Your eyes are still rolling up into your skull when you gasp out your last breath. Fish out of water. Meatloaf. You get the feeling the cat won't be too impressed with anything that comes out of a can, and you're not about to feed it whatever the heck that toxic looking sludge is. So it's settled. Tuna sandwich for you and leftover meatloaf for your feline friend. You ignore the cat's disappointed meows as you put the weird container back in the fridge to dispose of later. You warm up the meatloaf in the microwave. You place the now warm meatloaf on a saucer next to the cat on the counter. You don't think you should be encouraging it to eat up there? You figure it'll make up for electing not to feed it the toxic goop it wanted. The cat looks like it finds the meatloaf. Interesting. Works for you. Eat up, kitty. As the cat digs into the meal, you go about searching for some bread for your tuna sandwich. You're so distracted by your search that you can only just barely hear. You turn around and see that the meatloaf has only one, maybe 2 bites taken out of it. But more alarmingly, there seems to be a red trail of something leading away from where the cat had been sitting. And off the edge of the counter towards the living room is that blood. You jump at the strange sounds coming from around the corner, further into your apartment. You attempt to steal your nerves. Taking a breath, you walk around the counter to head into the living room. You stepped into something warm and wet and red. You resist the urge to vomit and step away from the trail of. You follow the trail into the living room. See that it leads into the hall. It's getting louder. It's definitely in the hall. You feel like you can hear your heartbeat. You hope whatever it is in the hall can't. Your body shakes as you feel yourself step forward. And forward. And forward. And forward. You peek around the corner. Nothing. There's nothing there. What? You walk further into the hall and see that the trail leads all the way down the end of it. There's nothing there. You don't quite feel relief, but at least you feel something wet and warm drip onto your cheek. Something very warm. You swipe your shaking hand across it, pull it back to see your fingers covered in something. You look up and see what can only be described as meat. The entire ceiling of the hallway is covered in a thick, undulating, writhing layer of pulsing meat. At the center of a single glowing eyeball, frantically rolling around in every direction. It'll land squarely on you. You try to take a step back, desperate to escape the hallway, to escape this thing, but before you can even scream, the meaty tendrils shoot out and grab you. No! Let me go! They pull you up and up into a pair of slowly opening jaws, and then leftovers. It's not every day you have access to a cute, fluffy animal. What else is there to do but pet it to your heart's content? You sit on the floor in your living room and click your tongue to call the cat over. The cat dashes over to you, immediately climbing into your lap. Poor thing, You just want some attention, don't you? Alright, alright. You carefully pet the cat and rub behind an ear and scratch under the chin. Smooth sweep along the black. Good. You keep petting the cat in your lap, enjoying this bonding time together. But the cat starts to get restless after a while. You're not quite ready to stop. Feel so calm, the repetitive action soothing your usually overworking mind. You keep petting. The cat leads away from your next head pat. It's trying to get out of your lap. When you scratch under the cat's chin and bites at your finger, it might be bleeding, but really it barely hurts. More of a warning than anything. The cat struggles in your hold. It's watching you closely. You keep petting the cat. The cat bites off your finger. It hurts. You're definitely bleeding now, but for some reason, you wouldn't pet the cat. You just can't stop. You don't know what it is. Its fur is so much softer than you realized. You'd think that it would be shining in the faint light of your living room, but it's as if the darkness of the cat's black coat is sucking in all the illumination around it, rendering it completely null. You're drawn to it, like you're somehow holding a deep dark abyss right in your lap. It seems calmer now, munching on your severed finger, the stump between your thumb and middle fingers leaking. But you keep petting. You fret that your blood will ruin its fur, but the cat no longer seems to mind. Time passes. It's dark out now. Softer the fur is, your palm has started to feel raw and damp under the constant friction from your petting. You think that maybe you've had enough. You start to lift your hand from the cat, when in a flash, now it wants me to continue petting it. Your hand is mine now. Your entire hand is separated from your wrist. It flops onto your lap beside the cat. The cat's claws on its front right paw glisten with crimson liquid. You don't feel it for a moment, but your body tenses, anticipating the pain as you blankly watch the cat lick at the bloody palm of your severed hand. It hurts. It really, really hurts. Then the cat looks up at you, and you feel compelled to keep petting. You're reluctant, but you're also afraid of what will happen if you don't heed the call. What will you lose next if you try to resist again? You were hurt for your insistent petting earlier, yet now you've been hurt for trying to stop? It defies all logic, but that's what scares you. There's no reasoning with such fickle whims. You feebly try to raise your uninjured hand to pet the cat, but it stiffens, golden eyes glinting dangerously. Well, alright then. You raise your bleeding stump and resume your petting to the best of your ability. You pet. And you bleed. You pet. And you bleed. You pet. And you bleed. You pet. And you can't bleed anymore. Personal boundaries.